If you guys want to see how I turned this old boring coffee table into this, stay tuned. Hey everybody, so before we start to redo our table, what we have here, we have sandpaper, and this is actually 80 grit, really coarse, because right here in one section of the table, it's really water damaged, like maybe, you know, sitting cups and things there. So we're gonna start with an 80 grit sandpaper to see if we can really get those imperfections out. And we're gonna use this power sander. So we're gonna sand it all down first. And then after that, we'll probably end up hand sanding some of the other sections just to see if we can get it as smooth as possible. So what we're going to use to stain this, we're actually going to start with, this is Rust-Oleum's wood stain in the color Kona. And then this is a clear coat. Is this acrylic? A clear satin coat to kind of, you know, give it a nice finish on top. And then this Pro Classic color is what we're going to use for the legs. So what we're actually doing here, we're going to wood stain the top in a darker wood, and then the base, all of the legs will be in an off-white, so kind of like a two-tone. So we're going to start with the stain first, and we're going to see how that turns out. All right, so we have these white cotton rags, which are pretty much just like cut up t-shirts. So 100% cotton, and just gonna dip it into the stain, and then with even strokes we're gonna stroke back and forth. So I know it looks like it's going on like really thick, but all you do is just pretty much just keep wiping it and just kind of even it out, and it'll start to soak into the wood. It's also good to do 2 coats. So after we do this first coat, we'll let it dry, and then we'll come back and do another coat. And again, that's just depending on if you want it that dark. You know, once you do your first coat, you'll see how it looks, and if you want a little darker, you can do another coat. If you like how it looks after the first coat, then that's fine too. But it's actually really simple. Just wipe it down. So we've already applied the stain, and the directions say to wait for about an hour before you can apply the protective top coat. So while I'm waiting, I've just started to go ahead and paint my legs the white that I want, and this is kind of an off-white. So I'm just going to go around and paint these, and then we'll come back and we'll apply our top coat to the top of the table. Alright y'all, so I have finished painting the legs, and you can see how much better it looks. I just really like the contrast with the dark and the light. I just think it looks really good. So I've done 2 coats of white paint already. And now I can go in with my top coat and finish the top of the table. And I actually really like all of the imperfections. Like right here, you can see it's this is where the water damage was, but I actually don't mind that. As a matter of fact, when the legs finish drying, I'm going to take some of the sandpaper and just scrape off some of the paint to give it a distressed look and rough up the edges a little bit. So that way, you know, the whole table will have a distressed look to it. Okay, so the last step is to do our top coat finish, and I have it right here. And when you open the jar, it looks really milky, and even when you put it on, it looks really milky, but it will definitely dry clear. All right, well, the directions say to let it sit for about 24 hours and then it'll be ready to use. So here is the final result. One thing I forgot to mention is that this table only cost me $14 at the Salvation Army. So if you guys have any DIY projects that you would love to see, then leave them in the comment box below. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe.